asked, what kind of baits I like to throw when the water's real cold early in the spring, even late winter, and basically what I got here is 6 different baits that I really like to throw early in the year. One of my favorite baits to start off with when I'm searching for fish, trying to cover a lot of ground, is a storm wigglewort. For some odd reason, probably because of the action of the wigglewort, whatever it is, but bass in cold water love to eat a wigglewort. Anytime the water is anywhere from 38 up to even like 50 degrees, you can usually catch a couple fish here and there on a wigglewort. So I really like to have these on end of at least one of my rods when I'm heading out there. Another bait that you almost always got to have on in the winter time is a jerk bait. When those shads start dying off, you take this jerk bait, go back to some of those creeks, get on those last secondaries, some of those channel swing banks, and just rip on them with the jerk bait. Big fan of the Super Rogues. Caught a lot of good fish on these over the last couple of years. When the bait's up high in the water column, if your bait fish are kind of up high, you've had a couple sunny days, been a little bit warmer, I like to throw these rogues. They don't run real deep, so they hit that strike zone up there. Couple cold fronts move through and the fish are down a little bit deeper, down in that 8 to 10 foot range. I'll take one of these deeper diving lucky crafts here and try to hit that zone down there. Just having that jerk bait there is a real good fish catcher when the water's cold, because you can take it, twitch it down there, and let it sit, sometimes up to a minute long. And those fish will swim up from down deep and eat it because they think it's just a shad just sitting there. It's one of my top baits I have when the water's cold. Another thing I like to do is, if I got a little stain to the water, if you got a shallower type lake where the fish can't really get too deep, a good thing to do is in those muddy water lakes when it's cold out is to take a spinnerbait with some Colorado blades on it, and take that spinnerbait and just crawl it on those last secondaries, those channel swing banks where those fish are setting up on, and just crawl as slow as you can. Just slow roll along the bottom. Just have it so you can just barely feel the blades pumping when you're reeling it, and you'll get a lot of big bites doing that early in the year too. So I always have a spinnerbait tied on. If I gotta go slow, what I like to do is pick up one of these Mega Custom Tackles Pro Mega Jig, and I'll drag along the bottom, get some of those fish that are keying in on those crawdads. The jig's just a great bait to have on any time of the year. You can catch big fish on it, but early in the year that jig bite can really be on, and you're gonna want to make sure you have a couple jigs in your boat there. And if the bite gets real tough and the fish aren't wanting to hit a jig, or just not hitting very, it's hard. If you just go out there, you're not getting too many bites. Another thing I like to do is I'll pick up one of these shaky heads like a Mega Savior, and I'll put a finesse worm on the back of it, and I'll just throw it where I'll throw a jig usually. I'll throw it on those chunk rock banks, some of those bluff ends, wherever I might find some fish. Throw on those bluff walls where those fish are sitting in that cold water. This is a great way to get some bites that a lot of people you haven't heard them talk too much about shaky head fishing when the water's really cold, but it's a great technique to go out there and do when you need a couple bites here and there. So going back through it again, really like to throw a wigglewort, jerkbait, spinnerbait, small jig, and a shaky head when the water gets really cold. Try these baits next time you go out and you're fishing that cold water early in the spring, and I'm sure you're going to put a couple more bass in the boat.